Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Sorry I wasn't on the past few days. I've been busy, as always. But thanks once again for joining in. So today, kind of jumping back to just looking at a few earnings plays. Excuse me. So we have Pinterest, they had earnings report, Nvidia, and BIDU. Couple interesting stocks that I want to pay attention to today. The market's kind of rolling down a little bit as well. Maybe I'll do that in a little bit. But I'm going to put a new link in the description of the video to a trade tracking website that I've partnered up with another programmer. We've been working on it so that way you can track trades. Everybody's looking for ways to track their trades, doing Excel files. There's a few other websites that do the same. But after this video, I'll link it down in the description. I think we have about another 240 slots available for beta testing. So if you want to join in early and just, start tracking your trades with what we have so far, we'd appreciate it. So I'll put the link in the description. That way you guys can join. There's only 245 slots available for it, but when it gets done, we'll put it in. Okay, so that's part of what I've been working on the side. So whenever I say I'm doing something, I'm kind of busy. We've been working on a whole new website with a bunch of other stuff. Anyways, you guys get the point. So the GTO, it's not bad. We got to do some work to it. Really, I bought it, build credit, but I want to put some tunes on it, make it faster. So let's get into it. Cooley, they don't track options yet, but that is something we're working on. Right now we have TD Ameritrade as a broker, TFS, soon we'll have E-Trade, Tastyworks. We can't get Robinhood because the way Robinhood formats the trades, so we can't get them. You can only do manual imports. You can't do like a copy and paste import because the way Robinhood formats their trades. We've tried. In the future, Robinhood may change their format and then we can work with them, but for now we can't. But anyways, yes sir. All right, so let's jump into it. So Pinterest here is first one on the screen, so we'll just talk about this. Gaps down from 31 down to 24.74. They got the after hours low here. Generally speaking, a lot of times the after hours low will hold up as a support the first time around. So if it kind of drops out here pre-market to 24.74, would expect a bounce. And then if we can kind of, if it has weakness rolling into that 24.74, probably look for a short play below that. If you go back on the chart a little bit here, let me do a 4-hour chart. So if you go back on the 4-hour chart, the 24.74, it really lines up with kind of this little buy point and curl that Pinterest seen on its second or third day from its IPO or its debut on the open market. So you can kind of see it has this little curl here. So that's kind of why it held that 24.70 level so far. So again, kind of watching Pinterest today. I'd rather be more short bias on it than long bias right now until it proves me wrong or proves me differently. Okay. David Chan. Oh, I will talk to my programmer about that. We'll take a look at that. So Pinterest is on watch, short bias, and if you're on TD Ameritrade, Pinterest does have shares to short or easy to borrow. So shouldn't have an issue getting short on that if we need. Nvidia. So just watching Nvidia today, a little bit, see if something shows some good formation. Yesterday, after hours, it squeezed up. I actually watched the big move up. It was just interesting to see how it would play out. So the options market did imply about a 10-point move, and they were right. It did squeeze up about 10 points and then it gave it all back. So basically anybody who got long yesterday or short yesterday with options got crushed, and anybody who straddled yesterday got crushed. Anybody who wrangled yesterday got crushed. The only people that really made out are probably the ones selling options before the earnings. So anybody who just solely purchased to open really got crushed yesterday, most likely on the options place. So again, it went up, came down. We're kind of hovering here right in the middle. We're basically in the same trading channel as we were for the past couple days. So with the to give back all of the earnings gains, I would want to be more short bias on it today. If it doesn't give in today, then on Monday morning, I would be more adamant, about shorting it. It kind of reminds me of BABA maybe, right? Kind of like this, where BABA kind of shot up, gave back the gains, and then kind of rallied a bit, and the next day it kind of started to fade out. That's kind of the same thing I would expect to see from Nvidia. Something similar, not exact, but similar. So, going across, it's got a pretty strong support all through here, right? And that's even where I had that losing trade shorting BABA the other day, trying to force it below that support. So we're kind of coming into the support. If we can break 158 successfully, I would rather be short bias on Nvidia. Okay, so looking following that 158 level. All right. Next one, just to run through real fast, BIDU. So BIDU, pretty big gap down here as well, from 154 now down to 134, so 20 points there to the downside. You can't find any support on BIDU unless you were to go back at least 5 years. So I'll just look at a 10-year chart. We'll do a 10-year weekly chart. So unless you go back 10 years, you can't really find any support down until about 133. Yeah, like 133. That's basically where the support's at, and off some of this consolidational top. So all of this area right here, it's going to probably be support. So like from 140 down to 129, 130 is like the nearest term support that you could find on the chart if you go back 10 years, okay? Tesla is getting rocked right now, yes. There's some news right now that Elon Musk is basically pinching pennies and cutting expenses and costs everywhere and every way he can to basically try and achieve profitability. And because they only have like 10 months of, I think, the common stock shares that they sold off, that only brought in about 10 months of wiggle room. And so, yeah, Tesla's not doing so hot. We'll take a look at that. So BIDU down really big on the day. Still just kind of grinding down in this fashion. This is one where I would really just kind of watch it short bias initially. If it tries to go down and fails, then I'll look for that kind of early morning squeeze. So this is something that I'm more adamant about watching for a squeeze than Nvidia and Pinterest. So kind of watching. This is a big decrease. I would actually like to see if this gets bought back up and starts to kind of squeeze in the upwards direction, right? So those are the three main stocks that I'm going to keep an eye on. I'm always watching Netflix, always kind of jumping around a few stocks throughout the day as stuff starts to pick up and move. But Tesla's another interesting one, right? This one is below all the support, right? It was kind of channeling, right? Bounce down, breaking here. So this kind of just broke through all of its like little short-term support bounce levels. And then the same thing here with Tesla. I mean, if you look, there's really no clear identifiable support other than this 180s level, down at 180. And that's still a ways away, right? I mean, that's still 40 points, 50 points away. I don't expect Tesla just to slam down to 180, but I would expect if and when it gets there, there'd be a strong bounce. So that's where I would look for, anything and anybody looking to get long on that's probably where I would pinpoint for an entry long biased. There'll probably be some bounce days in between here and there that you can get long on. But for more of a longer term swing trading hold, bigger move to the upside, I would anticipate around 180, 179, 78 levels is where you should start considering that. Because if it does do that, right, you got this it's a big M pattern, right? It'll create this massive M, and to think that it doesn't bounce off 178 a little bit, I would highly doubt it. So 178s, 180s, Tesla, longer term support, probably a pretty good bounce around there. BYND, let me take a look. Is it still squeezing up? Or did it end up coming down? Yeah, it ended up dropping out a little bit. So yeah, BYND, pretty crazy. I just find it hard to believe that this this meat company, this vegetarian or healthy meat company is worth, this much money. Then again, I haven't looked into much about them. I've just been following the chart and price action, but I mean, I would be pretty surprised if it doesn't give back a lot of these gains that it put in. Yeah, I mean, McDonald's is like 100-something bucks, and BYND's been on the market for a couple days, and it's already about 100. All right, so Elon Musk got a margin call coming. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the meat market is definitely big here in America. I can definitely get behind that. You're absolutely right. So, anyways, maybe I should take some time and do a little bit more research on the company. And probably be wise decision. So we'll take a little quick look here at the market, the SPY. So anyways, right, this kind of tapped on resistance. So yesterday, market breaks just a bit over resistance to 289, which was like this previous high top. Start to see some selling pressure come in. Now we're kind of dropping out to, arguably some support, right? We had this previous top action right here, right? Drop out, resistance, bounce up, creates a small resistance, pulls back up. It's kind of hovering, trying to bounce that level. So I'm not crazy about like a dip buy here. If the market dropped out to 284 to this level, that's where I would be more adamant about maybe buying a dip, or seeing that there'd be a bounce in the market. So around that 283 in the short term, that is, right? I mean, there's even a few trend lines you can draw from the past couple days, right about there, coming in pretty close, though it's not exact. We do have, sort of a small trend line coming into play. So I would expect maybe a little bit of a rally day, kind of back and forth, up and down sort of day here in the market. And it's Friday. So all in all, I mean, 3 stocks that I'm really keeping a close eye on. Market has bounced a bit. Right now, I think we're gonna kind of hang out, maybe do a little bit of a consolidational trading day, but this is the normal flow of the market that we're seeing, right? This was, this is basically it, right? And we started to bounce this level as we kind of anticipated, dropping out, kind of pulling back. Now that we've put in a bounce level, it's not going to be as easy for this just to come right down and break through support. It usually never is, right? It's going to start kind of bouncing and channeling in between this zone. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. So Qualcomm, yeah, somebody asked me about Qualcomm earlier. May have been you. Sorry. I think it just said Qualcomm going to drop out. I don't really think Qualcomm's just going to completely drop out or go too fast. I actually think we'll probably see it get bought up today off around 70, 80 bucks, right? 70, 79, 80 bucks would put it right at this little, excuse me, like right at this breakout level. Kind of see it's like candle up, break. I would imagine we probably see it kind of hold right there a little bit and kind of bounce. Yeah, so I'd be more on the side that it's actually going to kind of bounce here. So that's just it. If it breaks 80, I might be a little more short biased on it. If it starts to hold 80, then I'd say we probably are looking at a little bit of a bounce there. But yeah, I would say right in that 80 level, you could kind of fall for like a little small intraday bounce play on Qualcomm. Yeah, yesterday I ended up getting short on this candle and then took it off on this one, realizing it was going to pop again, and then I waited a little bit longer and then caught the short down on this candle to like basically about about there. And then I could just, and then I think I took my last little bit off on this candle here. Was it that candle? Maybe it was this candle or that candle, that one right there. So yesterday I had a pretty decent short play on that after having one not good short play. Good explanation or reasoning. So what's a good explanation or reasoning as to why previous resistance becomes new support, right? So that's a good thing to talk about, because I mean most people understand it. If you don't, you're just a little bit newer and just haven't quite gotten to the point of understanding it. But a lot of times you'll see that an old resistance will become a new support, and that an old support becomes a new resistance, and everyone's like, well, why does that happen? Well, for one, I mean, when there's a resistance, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? And then once the resistance is broke, strong buyers break it, right? I mean, every time you see a strong resistance level get broke, the only reason it gets broken is because there was a reason to be buying, or there was a strong amount of buying that came in right at that level to break it over, right? So now you got to think, right? So if there's strong resistance, I don't have my drawing tools right now, but imagine strong resistance, right? And then all of a sudden it breaks over, good buying volume, pushes up, breaks it over. Then the price goes up, and then a couple days later it comes down to that level and it holds support. Well, there was a strong amount of buyers right at that level to break it over resistance. So if you think that those buyers that all bought up for that breakout are just going to let it come right back down below that level that they broke it out from, without at least an attempt to hold it there, right? So same thing and vice versa. When there's a support, right, or support, and then it breaks to the downside, a bunch of selling pressure and shorts short the stock at that breakdown level. So then a couple days go by and then it comes back up to that resistance. Well, there was a bunch of people that were willing to sell right there just a couple days ago. So why wouldn't they be willing to sell at that same point now, right? Or you got to think, this is support, right? So I'm going to get long, I get long, and then it breaks down on me and I go, oh shit. And then I'm just holding the bag, and then next couple days it gets back up there. Well, I'm basically back to break even. I'm going to sell right now just because I was in long at this, what I thought was support, and then it broke down. I get caught holding the bag. Next couple days it bounces back up to that same point. Now I'm maybe negative just a little bit or break even. I'm going to sell. Resistance is then created. Is WKHS still a thing? Not really. I mean, it was just it's good for them that they got that plant, but the hype happened, right? Ooh, there's actually a level here that I had there. Why? That is something to think about, if I could do this right. Actually, WKHS is kind of on this little buy point I had, but it kind of did its little squeeze day on the third day. So yeah, I don't know. It's really not a thing right now. There might be a play today on it just because it's on one of these levels that I have, but I don't think it's going to hold. I still don't think it's worth trading. How are stocks manipulated? I mean, that's another thing. Like, people think that stocks are manipulated to like the maximum, but they're really not for the most part. But like, how is a penny stock manipulated? Well, if there's only a float of so many shares, you could just keep coming in and buying up the shares and squeezing the stock, right? If you have enough money to move the market, then you can just move the market in your favor, right? For example, let's say I'm Warren Buffett and I have like, I don't even know, 25 million shares of some company, right? and I know that I'm going to start unloading, half of my position onto the open market. Well, if I have 25 million shares and I start to sell my 25 million shares over the course of the next week, the likelihood that the stock decreases in price is pretty good. So if I have 25 million, I'm going to, dump out half of my position. I'm probably going to make the stock go down over the next couple days. So if I'm going to do that, I might as well get puts on the stock for at least the next couple days, because as I sell, the price of the stock is going to decrease. All right? Or if I plan to buy another 20 million shares of Coca-Cola over the next couple months, the price is probably going to increase. So I'll now get long calls, right? Because I'm probably going to boost the stock up. All right, so there's a bunch of different ways to look at this stuff, right? Yeah, low float stocks, you can pump them up. If you can move the market, all right, that's about it. Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier, Tim. By the way, hello, Tim. It's nice to see you in here. That's what we were saying about Tesla. Really, Tesla down into the 180s is going to be a better level to buy. Until then, I really wouldn't be too concerned about anything going on in between, unless it's kind of like a short-term play. So it's 8:56. All right, guys, I'm going to head back to our private group now, but give me just a second here. I'm going to do this. Copy. Yeah, guys, I got to head back to the private group now, but I think, if this worked right, it should have. I did just link the trade tracking site in the bottom. Yeah. So if you go down to the description in the video, you'll see track your trades here. Feel free to go join us there. So just another site you can track your trades on. And right now we have 241 slots available, which will probably be gone by the end of today. So if you want to get in on that, so that way you can start tracking your trades, you can manually enter them. We have maybe like 10 or 12 interactive charts that show you and analyze your trades, a cumulative profit, what's your win percentage, average, win per day, etc. A bunch of different charts, cool things. So if you want, again, it's the first link in the description, completely free. Go into your information. Got 240 slots available, right? So with that being said, everybody take care. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys when I see you. That's when I'll see you, right? When I see you. All right, guys, take care. Have a good day, and stay green.